Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Vultauras, the eternal return, where each soul's integration assists the great mending of the collective consciousness. I'm your guide, Cleo, and today's topic is going to be about the power of language. Yes, I've been gone for quite some time. I apologize. I'm sure everybody's probably feeling like, oh, she's just flying by. To keep it really short. Oh, I want to say it has to do with once I learned about it. Granted, let me take this off. The glare is so bad, and I apologize. I really need to figure out something with the lighting. But I figured out what was revealed is that having to do with a lot of the transits through my personal natal chart, and with Mars in retrograde, I just want to sleep. That's all I want to do is sleep. That, and I have zero concept of time. It's very subjective right now for me. It's just that time really doesn't exist. I'm just blending from one cycle of light to dark to light to dark. And next thing I know, a week can be gone. So my apologies. I'm really going to try and, crack the whip and get back on it and get much better. Another change, I really did some reflecting on this and bouncing off with a very dear friend of mine, is that I really need to reduce this to one topic and one brain. This is Lola. Hello, Lola. And Shadow is in my lap. So I'm going to try and keep them off the table because otherwise they're going to have this bouncing around a bit. But I was doing two topics along with one brain tickler bag. It's too long. I don't want to keep people tied up that long. I'm really going to try and hone these into 20 minutes because I feel like people's lives are just so busy. They don't have time to listen to me yammer on, continuously. And so I'm really, plus I feel as though I'm not giving full due credit to each topic. And even with 20 minutes, I'm not going to feel that way either. But I'll feel like I'm getting a little closer without trying to jam it all in. So without further ado, again, today we're going to focus on the power of language. I'm going to put my eyeballs back on because I need to follow my structured notes. Otherwise, I get lost again. My brain goes off in various directions, as you know. So the reason why I'm choosing the power of language is because I'm noticing, we've all noticed this, I would suspect, in the past several months, pretty much this year. Let's just say this year. There's been a lot of communication, more so than normal, through the internet with individuals. There's a lot of emotions running high. There's a lot of misunderstandings. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of projections, a lot of transferences. It just has a lot to do with, so much is like people are purging their emotions basically, and quite often it's happening without any genuine forethought. In general, I'm going to be speaking in general terms because I cannot speak for any individual. I can only speak for myself. But what I am observing, I'm going to place it into general terms. So the reason why I'm bringing up the power of language is because words are sounds, and sounds create vibrations, and vibrations carry an essence of energy, which can penetrate and affect each and every living being. This has been very well known for at least recorded history. I'm going to say recorded history. And a lot of that recorded history is kind of like some assumptions. I mean, there is scientific backing. They do a lot of, archaeological, cultural, scientific, how else do I put it? The word isn't coming to me at the moment, but basically it's a collaboration of all of that and above. So going all the way back to Sumerian, that's the furthest back that we have at this moment in recorded history to our known knowledge, because there's always things we don't know that we don't know. So, to known knowledge within our ancient history, the Sumerian texts, the cuneiforms, all that. I mean, that's going back to like approximately 3500 BC, I believe now before Christ era. So, wow, you guys are really on me today. This is, uh, um, then, following up with Egyptian, the Mycenaeans, which are the Greeks, you fall into the Phoenicians and the Etruscans, and, there's a controversy that they do believe that the Phoenicians influenced the Greek language and not vice versa. But even within all that, as you notice the different changes, the written symbolism of the letters, you could also, the letters, but there were also, what do you call it? I'm trying to pull it together in my brain. Like I said, I've really been out of whack lately. Um, it's like characters, symbolic characters. You find it a lot in Asian language, where you'll have a small character that can have a meaning up to 3 to 5 words that we would have in normal, let's say, English language. That's the one I'm going to base everything off of right now, is English language, because that's what I'm using. So within each culture throughout history, language is subjective per how it's used. Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, the vibration is still internalized, regardless. Whether you're going to put something out there and the vibration is going to affect another and yourself, because you formed that vibration, you created that sound, you created the intensity of the delivery with the intent, whether conscious or unconscious. You're the creator of this vibration, of this energy that we call language. So for example, they've done many studies where you can take a newspaper or you can take a child's book. You can read it to a baby. You can take a newspaper with a horrible, horrible review or a horrible story and read it in the sweetest, in the kindest, with a variety of inflections, all of this, and use your facial expressions to animate this to a baby, and the baby's just cooing and all this. The baby doesn't understand the word. The baby is picking up the vibration from the sounds, right? And that vibration is energetic within the cells of the child. The child is now connecting with the reader. Now, you can turn around and take a proper child, book and read it monotone, have a menaced face, and kind of use maybe once in a while inflections of just, right? Do something like that. That baby is just going to be flatline, trying to figure out, I don't know what's happening here. I'm a little uncomfortable. I am not sure what to do. The baby may even start crying. So it's really not always necessarily the words that, in themselves. It is the person providing the sound to create the vibration of the intent delivery. That is the power of language. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's cyclical. Now, what I mean by cyclical, okay, honey. Okay. What I mean by cyclical is the reader, or let's say just the conversationalist, like I am right now. I have a thought. I'm thinking. I have a thought. And I am going to verbalize that thought. And then once that's out there, there is a cycle turning back with that thought. Because I put it out. Now I'm thinking, how is it being received? Was it delivered in the manner I wanted? This is if I'm thinking about it, of course. This is if I'm thinking about it. Was it received in the manner in which I intended it, to be sent, to be received? Also, I can circle it back because I heard and I felt the vibration of the sound of those words going out. And however I delivered it, I have now unconsciously internalized it. Same difference. If I'm taking this off, the glare is so bad, I apologize. I need to do something about glasses. The same thing occurs when you are unaware, you are unconscious of the words that you are sending out in the manner in which you are giving them. I'm going to give this great example. I worked with this youth one time. We were working on strengths to let's focus on the positives. We're going to work on strengths. So we would create this board of strengths. And when we're all done, everybody gets to chip in. The youth begins with it, but we all get to chip in. And at the end, the youth gets to select top 3 that, they resonate the closest with. And they, and that way it gives us a guideline as to, there goes Lola again. That gives us as supports to better understand and facilitate and to foster those top 3 strengths that youth identifies with. Well, to shorten it up, the youth started off saying, I'm a bitch. The parents are like, whoa, wait a minute. No, we're focusing on strengths, on positives. So I go, well, hold on a second. Let's take a closer look at this. The youth is saying this for a particular reason. So after breaking it down, after some, digging and deeper conversation, basically it came around to the youth was assertive. The delivery method sucked, which is why I guess others had called her such, and she accepted the role as bitch. Okay? Please pardon my language. This is hers. I'm just trying to make a point here. There is a difference in vibration and absorbing this cyclical thought pattern of bitch and assertive. They carry different connotations. And that also has to do with cultural, purposes as well. In culture, they assign different underlying meanings to these words, right? But it's also how you use them, how you don't. Okay, you need to stop, hun. Come on, go that way. It's this underlying, method. But anyways, we broke it down and then you said, yes, I'm going to use assertive as my top number 1. And yes, I need assistance as to how to better deliver my assertiveness. And I'm like, excellent. We got it down. So that is a point I'm making right there, is basically being conscious of your own language and why that language is the way it is. Lola. Which also goes back to the newspaper or the child's book, reading to the baby. It is the delivery, not just the word. It's the delivery, because that word, based on the delivery, can cycle back around to an actual thought that gets implanted in one's conscious or unconscious mind. Okay. The other part is, languages in and of themselves are quite different as well. Ooh, okay. I'm going to use a little light to kind of help out. I'm losing some light here today. Still a little overcast with a lot of the smoke out there. Not as bad as it used to be, though, but it is better. Okay. So with languages, you have various types, and they create different consonant and vowel sounds. So if you look at a lot of the Romance languages, the Romantic languages, that's a lot of the Mediterranean area, Spanish, Italian, Latin, Greek, those types. They're considered Romance, which is why a lot of people just love listening to them roll off. And then you have other languages where they're a little more harsh. They're like, English can be that way as well, especially, sorry. Okay, that's better. Especially when we use curse words. Okay. Curse words are, they can cut hard, they can cut deep, not just to the other, to the individual, creating the vibrational sound. So when you look at the written form, you have symbols, characters, alphabet. Symbols are the broadest spectrum of meaning that you can actually have because they carry so much weight, breadth, and depth within just that symbol because it goes above and beyond. It is like a little cosmos, it's a little atom of knowledge, a little atom of communication for a broader spectrum. Then you go into characters. Characters is kind of like a portion of a symbol, but it's like a close cousin, right? Because again, we can go back to Asian characters and stuff within their language where it can have up to 3 to 5 words of meaning, maybe even more. I don't know. I can't read characters. But then you get to the alphabet. For myself personally, in my perception, of course, I find the alphabet the most narrow and controlling form of communication because it's very concise and it's limited within the scope of what it's allowed to do per language of the culture. Okay. I find it rather controlling. Alphabets are almost controlling. They're like numbers. Alphabets are like numbers in that sense. Then you go into the characters, they're kind of breaking out of that realm. You go into symbology, now you're dealing with a whole different ball of wax. Now you're really dealing with the right side brain hitting that creative note that goes above and beyond the constrictions of the left-sided, math and science. Science needs both. I'll retract that. Science needs both. But just the alphabet in itself, it's like Latin, okay? An alphabet is like Latin, so it's universal. It's easier to translate a word. It's easier to make correlations with one another. So I guess you could say the alphabet system to language is like Latin to science. So there is a universal understanding. However, so is symbology. Symbology has been greatly excised out of our conscious knowledge. And I do believe because this is my gut telling me here, is because of the power of the language. When you can deeply understand and connect and root down in with that symbolism, you've got a greater power. You can make greater effect with little effort. Okay? Alphabet, language, there's greater effort. With symbology, smaller effort because it already exists. Okay? So now you're taking the symbolism and you construct historically, right, that we know of, that we have written knowledge of, because we all know there's more that we just don't know out there. Okay. This is where spells, blessings, chants, curses, prayers, this is the home of the power of language. When you bring in the symbolism into this understanding, when you can break down the characters into this understanding, when you can articulate the alphabet within the construct of a word's genuine meaning with clear intent, now you're manifesting. Now you are creating great effect on a rippling scale that you may not even be able to comprehend at the moment. So the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because there's a whole lot of pain that is being transmuted as anger out into the world right now against individuals, against groups. And this power of language through the vibration is really creating a very thick, energetic atmosphere. My prayer, my faith is that more individuals may be able to slow down and really feel and think before they speak, not just the choice of words, okay? How are they arranging those words to transmit what it is they're genuinely trying to convey to another? How are they delivering it? In what manner are they basically, delivering, presenting their thoughts, coming out into the vibration to create this energetic field? Are they aware or are they unaware? Either way, the effect is going to happen. So again, it is with my faith and prayer. Please, I ask people to slow down. I myself try to stay very conscious of this. So remember, language has power, whether it be symbolism, characters, or within the alphabet, within the words, with how it's constructed, arranged, delivered, all of it, the whole thing. And they knew this through time and space. They know the power of sound and vibration that comes from language, okay? Not just written, but when it's actually said, and how it's said, in the manner it's said, with the intent it's said, because it's cyclical. Whatever we put out, it is in us. We are receiving it equally because we created it. All right. So I'm going to end it there with the power of language because it looks like I'm carrying on and I don't want to do that to y'all. But I also want to tap in on the brain tickler bag. That's it. Jiminy Crickets. I told you I'm out there these days. I'm out there. It's okay. So anyways, the brain tickler bag. As of recently, I learned something about Jiminy Crickets. I don't know what a lot of people know about Jiminy Crickets from, Pinocchio, Disney. That's where I know Jiminy Crickets, okay, is from Pinocchio, the Disney cartoon Pinocchio as a child. Well, I learned something all new, blew my mind away. Now, you all may know this already. I did not. So for those who don't as well, this is going to be really interesting. So I grew up where my mom would always say, Jiminy Crickets, Jiminy Crickets, Jiminy Crickets, instead of cursing, because she made it a point not to curse around me or my sister. So I grew up my entire life. I'm now 49 years old. And to this day, I still say, Jiminy Crickets, right? Along with many other things like Jimmy Crack Corn and things like that. But I would say that in place of cursing as well, because I don't like cursing. It just feels gross coming out of my mouth. Doesn't mean I've never done it. I have, but it still feels gross coming out of my mouth. So I'll use Jiminy Crickets or, fudgesicle sticks or whatever the case might be. Well, Jiminy Crickets, I found out as of recent that this goes back as far back as the early 1600s in England. It was a form of a euphemism to abstain from cursing and from blasphemy. Jiminy Crickets came after Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Christmas was a euphemism in place of Jesus Christ, okay? So you went from Jesus Christ to Jiminy Christmas to, what are some of the other ones? Jiminy, which Mark Twain put in, I want to say it was Tom Sawyer. You did have Jiminy Crickets. I want to say Dorothy said it in The Wizard of Oz. There's also By Jiminy. There's Jumpin' Jiminy. I think that one had to do with Jumpin' Jack, which is the devil. Okay. And then, of course, Disney touches base on this and creates Jiminy Cricket. Even though they've been using Jiminy Crickets as well, use Jiminy Crickets as the conscious for Pinocchio. Now, you had the fairy angel. To me, she's both because she's real. I always picture fairies as little. Well, she was so much larger. So she's like an angel fairy to me. And she gave the blessing, she gave the power and the bestowment upon Jiminy Crickets to be the all high consciousness of Pinocchio so that he could have better guidance into retaining his innocence with his soul so it wasn't, diverted and stolen. But the bottom line is this: I was fascinated to learn about the roots of Jiminy Crickets, going right back to the power of language. Get to know your language, learn the, I think it's called etymology. No, etymology is about bugs, isn't it? I don't remember. Etymology is either the study of the root of the words or it's about bug science. I don't remember. Anyways, this is one of them. So yes, please be aware of the power of language, and get to know the root of your words. Jiminy Crickets. Who knew? I didn't know. Now I know. It's pretty awesome. All right. Thank you all again. This is Cleo signing off. I will really try hard not to be late next time, because, yeah, I have a lot more coming out, but I'm real busy right now, too. I'm getting requests to create more presentations for the college, and a lot of transitional things are going on right now. Trying to do a lot more writing, but I want to keep up with this because, yes, I have these thoughts and everything that come through and I want to share them. And I'd love to hear from you as well. Anything you would like to hear about, please let me know. And hey, I'd be more than happy to look into that and create it. And I may have to try not using my glasses a little bit, even though I am blind as a bat to hear. So, anyways, there we go. Vultauras, the eternal return. Because each one of us, when we're reintegrating our soul, we are helping mend the collective consciousness. And that's like a matrix, hugging the earth. Signing out. Love y'all. Bye.